Have you ever had a wine at a specific historical occasion? I'm going to have this wine next year on April 30th, 2024. Why is that? I'm about to tell you the story about the man, the myth, the legend, about who this wine was named after, the Chevalier de Bayard. Who was the Chevalier de Bayard? The Chevalier de Bayard was a national French hero in Italian Renaissance times. He was known as the perfect knight, the knight without fear, and the knight beyond reproach. He fought alongside King Louis XII. He fought for Charles VIII. He fought for Francis I. And the man was such a badass that Francis I, the king, wanted to be knighted by this man. When he was 23 years old, he got commissioned by the king to go over to Milan and to steal some horses in the name of the king. And he got captured and trapped in the city walls of Milan by a man called Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan at the time. And when he captured him, he was so in awe with his courage and his gallantry and his character that he just decided to let him go without ransom. To give you some context of where we're at right now, Ludovico Sforza is the man who would commission Leonardo da Vinci to paint the Mona Lisa. So we're at around that time. Now, in the Battle of Gargliano, he saw that there was 200 Spanish soldiers across from a river about to cross a narrow little bridge that needed to be defended at all costs. And there was nobody to defend that bridge. His French armies were wounded and sick on the left side. He told his servant, "Go and get help and I will be right back." Mounted on his horse with all of his armor, he rushed in like a thunderbolt and he defended that bridge, him alone, fighting against 200 Spanish soldiers for 30 minutes until help arrived. After this feat, Pope Julius II, who was also known as the Warrior Pope, and the first pope to authorize Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel, heard about this and he said, "I want this guy working for me. I want him to come over to Italy side and be a mercenary for the papal state." The Chevalier de Bayard answered, "I'm sorry, but I only have two lords. One is up in the sky, our God and Savior, and one is down on earth, the King of France." This is a painting by Henry Emanuele Filippo, in which he depicts the Chevalier de Bayard making the heroic defense at that Battle of Gargliano on December 29th of 1503. It was said that he fought like an uncaged lion or fighting like a demon, knocking multiple soldiers left and right of that bridge. After this feat, he was given a tunic with an inscription in Latin that read, "One man has the strength of armies." When he captured cities, he prohibited his armies from raping and pillaging and looting the people. When he borrowed something, he always made sure he paid it back in full. He captured an enemy commander and he treated him with the utmost respect. He never tortured him or anything. That same man escaped before his ransom could be paid and then started spreading lies about his ill treatment. The Chevalier de Bayard told him, "You better recant those lies about me, or to defend my honor, I will have to challenge you to mortal combat." He didn't recant the lies. He challenged him to mortal combat. He went on the day while he was still sick with malaria and he killed him. That's how they did it back then. He took a dagger and he put it right between his neck with a brilliant athletic move. At that moment, everybody started cheering and clapping for his victory over him, and he said, "Please do not cheer. It is not right to cheer for death." This man defended the city of Merzier with only 1,000 soldiers against 35,000 soldiers of the Holy Roman Empire for 6 weeks until help arrived. The only reason they made it out alive was because he made his soldiers take an oath to eat his horse so they could remain fed for a couple more days. When the failed general Count Nassau from the Holy Roman Empire went back to Mary of Hungary to tell her about his failed expedition, Mary of Hungary, with all her disdain towards him, said to him, "Why is it that you cannot conquer this crazy little pigeon's nest?" The Count Nassau replied, "Because, ma'am, there was an eagle in it." Finally, at the end of his career in 1524, April 30th, the modern guns were starting to get implemented into warfare. And he got shot by an arquebus, the early versions of a rifle. He was one of the first people to get shot and killed by what we call the modern gun. And as he falls from his horse, he's bleeding to death, and he asks to be laid up against a tree so that he would never turn his back to the enemy. And at that moment, everybody stopped fighting, and even his enemies were mourning over his death because he was such a highly respected man. And as you can see here in this painting by Benjamin West, an enemy commander that was from France's side, switched over sides to the Spanish, walks up to him with his arms extended and says to him, "I am so sorry, Chevalier de Bayard. I pity you that you are dying. You were such a noble and virtuous knight." And the Chevalier de Bayard answers with the most savage medieval mic drop I have ever read in my life and says to him, "You do not need to pity me because I die a man of honor doing my duty. It is I who pity you because you're fighting against your king. your country, and your oath. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I share this story with you is because next year, on April 30th, 2024, is going to be exactly 500 years after his death. And I will be going to Grenoble, France, to the Church of Saint Andre, and I will be having this bottle in his honor. If you want to join me, you can certainly do that. This is my contact info, and this is where you can order the wine. It's a Grenache blend with two grape varieties called Sanso and Carignan, meaning the classical Southern French style. The only reason I share this story with you is because I have two sisters, and I don't want any woman telling me that chivalry is dead, but you can't even tell me who was the GOAT of chivalry, which was the Chevalier de Bayard. Not Heath Ledger, this guy. So I hope you join me. A lot of my clients will be doing so too. Take a day. I don't care what you're doing that day. You might just got done paying off your taxes. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but I guarantee you this. You're going to come home all late from work, exhausted. You're going to need a little bit of wine, crack open a bottle, sit on the couch, maybe watch a little TV. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're honoring the man, the legacy of what it means to be a chivalrous person. And just say, here's to you, Monsieur Bayard. So hope you join me.